You don't need me to tell you it is a scorcher out there today. Our weather team says today will be the hottest day of the week. Don't forget that sunscreen and drink lots of water.
That is an understatement. Welcome to the 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Chad Silver, Monique Robinson, Lauren Coleman.
Hey everybody, and thanks for joining us live on WFMY News 2. And if you're on our Facebook page, make sure you give us a shout in the comments.
You'll also notice there's a QR code right there in the bottom right corner of your screen. If you point your phone's camera at it, you will see a link to download our app. And what you want to be in tune with right now is just that heat, Eric.
It is hot outside. If you were out this morning, if you were out within the last hour, or if you have been out even this evening, well, when you plan to go out this evening, you're all going to be talking about the heat. It's the talk of the town. It's hot. I want to go to a pool. I want to head all the way down to the beach as temperatures staying very warm. 94 is the high for Greensboro today, 96 in Winston-Salem. Hey, folks in Burlington, are you guys okay? 97 is where you stopped at for at least now. And as we continue through the rest of the evening, we're going to see these temperatures cooling down a little bit, but still feeling very hot. 100 is the high temperature in Nashville, 100 down in Montgomery. We're not in the triple digits, but it is feeling hot today. Our satellite and radar is dry across our area, but not too far away. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in the southern edge there of Virginia, and we're seeing a lot of the shower and storm activity moving from the north and heading down south. Hey, we're next in line. We're just south of Virginia, which means those storms that are north of us are going to be heading into our area. We see 2 severe thunderstorm warnings across Virginia, right around the Maryland area as well. But as we continue through this evening, we are all going to be on alert through the central Piedmont. The Storm Prediction Center has us under a level 1, some places a marginal risk for severe weather. Just to the north of us, they're under a level 2, slight risk for severe weather. So when we talk about severe weather for tonight, we're talking really late tonight. And so those storms could roll into the start of your Thursday morning, and the temperatures by the afternoon will be in the 90s tomorrow. And then as we continue through the next couple of days, those temperatures should be right around normal, but staying hot. Now, the number 1 weather related killer is heat. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Global warming is proof that the heat story isn't stopping anytime soon. Experts say naming and ranking the heat waves may be a better wake-up call for folks to take this serious. The ranking scale would rate heat waves from 1 to 3 and use heat index, nighttime temperatures, and how fast temps have climbed over the last 30 years to determine its number. Experts like Kathy Backman, who studies climate change solutions, says heat deaths will rise due to climate change.
If something is the silent killer, it needs a PR tactic and some branding. And we believe that if we give them a name, people pay attention.
Minneapolis, Minnesota, Kansas City, Missouri, Los Angeles, California, and Miami, Florida are testing the scale this summer. So what do you guys think about naming these heat waves? We name hurricanes, but we don't name heat waves.
So how I feel about it would be probably similar to how the Weather Channel names winter storms, and I think it's ridiculous. Yeah. I think it looks foolish. It kind of seems very gimmicky, and I'm afraid that doing that with heat waves would be the same thing in my mind.
The opposite effect of making it more important. No, that's exactly where I am, because I used to get annoyed when the Weather Channel would do that and name the winter storms, because I agree it's almost like just an attention getter. You know, I think talking about the importance of heat, it's our job to let people know how bad this heat is and the consequences.
I agree with that too, Eric. That's what we're here for as well. And I think when we start adding names to heat waves, it just becomes a bit too much. And how long would it take for people to actually catch on to something like this, since it's something we haven't done before?
And luckily, we're not in a place that gets into those triple digits multiple times throughout the year. We do get hot, I won't say that, but we're not in the triple digits. Some other locations, maybe they need to tap into that a little bit more in terms of at least the ranking, not necessarily the naming, but the rankings. People understand how severe the heat will get.
Well, and that's why they named hurricanes in the first place, was because people would get confused and they'd say hurricane number 3. Well, you have a 3 every year, and so they did names to make it different. We don't have it that often here, so maybe out, if you look out in the desert communities, but even there, they're used to it. I don't think you see as much of the issue with them as that you might hear.
And I guess you would think, you guys would know better than I would, but you would think that it would be difficult to track the edge of that heat wave, if you will, because I mean, when we talk about a tropical storm or a hurricane, it is evident where that storm is moving. I don't know if it would be the same with, I mean, a heat wave would it have gaps where there were mountains where it was cooler, and then the name, it wouldn't be named in that area, but it would be named around it.
It's difficult.
That is true. That is very difficult to kind of put a mapping and kind of encompass
a border around it.
Right, yeah. Who would be included in that? I think that's really important. But when you were just talking in the impacts, that's why it's very important that you do take heed to what meteorologists are saying, whether we're talking a hurricane or a heat wave, because the impacts are very important. Beyond whatever the scale is, beyond what we're talking how hot the temperature will get, we just want you to understand the weather. And so that's what we do every single day. We kind of break down and explain so that you're safe regardless of what's moving into the central Piedmont.
Very true. Talk about it on Facebook. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, a lot of people trying to figure out how to stay cool. So a popular public place people use to escape the heat is closed this week. The Interactive Resource Center posted this on their Facebook page. It says several employees tested positive for COVID-19, causing the center to temporarily restrict public access. The executive director hopes to reopen next Monday.
The services that won't be offered by the IRC the rest of this week are limited to laundry and showers and the air conditioning.
Helps between 60 and 80 people every single day. People can still pick up their mail and handle other urgent needs every day between the hours of 10 a.m. and noon, but only one person is allowed in at a time. The IRC is just one of the many spots around Greensboro to cool off, and most are inexpensive or free. You can visit a public library to cool off during business hours. The city of Greensboro also has a dozen neighborhood rec centers and splash pads for free use. Plus, a trip to the pool is $2 per adult and just $1 for a child.
The president took a step today to try to cool down gas prices. He asked Congress to suspend federal gas and diesel taxes for 3 months. He's calling it a gas tax holiday and says it'll ease financial stress at the pump. If passed, prices would drop about 18 cents for gas, 24 cents for diesel. However, some lawmakers aren't sold on the idea. Some have raised questions about how the tax suspension could impact other costs.
If you were to decide to go for a federal gas tax holiday, do you believe Congress would support that? And how would you feel about the fact that those funds are used for something that is a big priority for you, repair of roads and infrastructure and all of that? Is that worth
We have a giant infrastructure bill we passed. Giant. $1.2 trillion.
So it would be worth it for you to...
Sure, it's not like, it's not like before. Look, it will have some impact, but it's not going to have an impact on major road construction and major repairs.
Fuel analysts are also concerned about the idea. Gas Buddy says the temporary relief might motivate more people to hit the road, which in turn would drive up demand.
It could exacerbate the situation by causing maybe more Americans to hit the road if prices do go down 20 cents a gallon. And that could, again, cause more of an imbalance between supply and demand that could eventually push prices up. It remains a possibility. I'm hopeful that we can avoid it, but we'll have to see.
Right now, the average price of gas in our state is $4.61. If Congress approves a tax holiday, that price would drop to $4.43. Biden is also pushing for states to suspend their own gas taxes. At this point, it's not likely to happen here. State lawmakers are instead working on a $200 tax rebate for drivers. Lawmakers took the gas tax holiday off the table because it's the Department of Transportation's largest source of funding, generating close to $2 billion a year. All right, y'all, let's talk about it. What is your pump price limit? Is there a dollar amount that would have you put the brakes on driving? For me, there is no limit. I mean, I've got to drive, and I'm going to continue to do it. I might cut elsewhere, but I'm still going to drive.
Well, I've told Lauren this before. I have this silly thing that I do. So I've had to bring my number
I
up.
know, right? Because
Yeah,
you're not going to get very far.
Before, it used to be, I'm not paying any more than $45 when I go to fill up my car. My personal protest was, even if it's 3/4 of the way or half of the tank, I'm not doing it anymore. I had to bring that up to 55. But now my mental thing is like, I'm just not doing it. I know that I got to go back and I'll have to do it again. But it's just this mental thing for me. It makes me feel better.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chad. Like, I got to get to where I'm going. And so I'm just going to fill up where I can. But now that it's going higher, once it gets past like $40, I'm like, ugh. is this really happening? And before all of this, I never really looked to see how much it was a gallon. I kind of just pulled up to the nearest place, but now I'm actually driving around and looking to see who has the cheapest gas, because I mean, every penny really does count these days.
When I watch the, you don't, like you said, I do the little click thing.
Oh yeah, and
not anymore, because I can't stand to look at this thing. Some lady had a Suburban, they're gigantic, next to me the other day, and I said, how much did it cost you? She said $105, and I was like, nope.
That's when you really have to change your budget, because that's like a life-changing difference, going from like $40 to maybe like $100.
And how many times do you fill up a week or 2 weeks?
Maybe like every week in a couple days,
Once
but I
a
go to
week.
the same places. I go to the work, the gym, and the grocery store.
And I live so close to everywhere where I need to go that it's usually once every 3 weeks.
Whoa, that's great.
I just don't drive a lot.
That sounds very good.
Yeah, mine's about once every 9 days, something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, I'm about there too.
I'm thinking about one of my friends. He lives in Greensboro, drives a big old truck, and drives to Danville, Virginia for work every day.
Yeah.
And so he's feeling
Yeah,
it.
some people, they have no other choice.
Right, absolutely.
Do what you got to do. We're coming back. Stay there.
We are seeing increasing prices just about everywhere these days.
Yep, but one popular TikTok account says a major retailer is slashing prices amid an oversupply season. And we all love a good sale, but is that true? Let's verify.
When the pandemic started, people spent a lot of money upgrading their homes and buying casual clothing. Today, they're buying office wear and shifting to more essential items as inflation sends prices soaring. That's left a lot of retailers with whiplash and extra items people are no longer buying sitting on the shelves. That's prompting claims like this TikTok with more than 140,000 views, which says Target will start launching big sales to move an oversupply of inventory that isn't selling. So let's verify. Is Target discounting some items due to surplus inventory? Our sources are Target and Mark Matthews with the National Retail Federation. During the first part of 2022, Target told investors during its earnings call that its shelves are overstocked in the wrong areas.
We could keep this product, knowing it would sell over time, or we can make room for fast-growing categories. We chose the latter, leading to incremental markdowns that reduced our gross margin.
Target wouldn't say how much of a discount shoppers could see, but analysts don't expect the deals will last long because demand overall is still above pre-pandemic levels. Retailers just want to clear out some of the excess inventory they purchased.
As long as demand remains as high as it is, the inventory levels at current levels are not a problem.
So, yes, Target is discounting some items due to surplus inventory. And they're not alone. Last month, Costco told its investors it was heavy in small appliances and home decor. And Walmart also reported a 32% increase in apparel and other non-grocery inventory.
Yes.
I do love Target. It's one of my favorite places to go.
I go there almost weekly because
Yeah.
I live not too far from it, and I'm like, oh, I need to get some soap. Oh, I need to get something to drink. I'm like in and out all the time.
See, I'm an Amazon person.
Okay.
Oh, me too. I love that.
Everything I have that's not edible comes from Amazon. Even like my clothes, and I can't get a suit on there, but my clothes, everything is from Amazon.
You know, I never really jumped on the online train during the pandemic where a lot of people were doing that. I really don't online shop that often. There's just something about being there so I can try stuff on and just being in the presence and seeing different things.
Well, and I think some people enjoy the act of shopping.
Yeah,
you know
I do.
What I mean? Like I think like so I'm a little more like Chad in that respect, but I mean, Target has so much of what I need in one place that I can get in there and get my stuff. I don't enjoy like taking a long time. I like to get my stuff and get out. I really have gotten on the Amazon thing in the last probably 2 years because there's nothing you can't find on Amazon. It shocks me.
Right.
And it's probably a little cheaper. I probably should try, like, you could get things in bulk, like maybe like toothbrushes and different things like that.
See, you would think that. And when Amazon first started growing and not everybody was on it, that's what it was. But I think that their popularity, they realized that, hey, we don't have to have things cheaper than everywhere else because I will compare, and oftentimes I'll find things in stores that are cheaper than Amazon. So it's not really all that it's cracked up to be when it comes to
the
deals.
convenience
That's
of
what
it,
I
you're
was about
willing
to
to
say.
pay a little bit
Oh,
more.
I am willing to pay a little more if it's going to be at my door the next day, and sometimes literally it's the next day.
Clearly, I don't have a lot of things going on. Sometimes going to the grocery store is the highlight of
It's
my
fun.
week.
That is fun. That's where I blow most of my money.
Yeah.
Don't get me in a good grocery store. I'll eat my way through there. We're coming back.
All right, so the best chance for anyone across the central Piedmont to see storms will be between the hours of 8 p.m. to about 1 a.m. Gusty winds are the primary thing I think we need to worry ourselves with any storms that do push through. Let's take a look at this futurecast as we go over the next several hours. So a lot of the first round of the storm activity will arrive around that 8 p.m. hour. It looks as though a lot of this will stay over near the Raleigh area, barely clipping some of our eastern locations, Burlington, anywhere in Alamance County. Barely clipping with that first round that pushes through between 8 and about 11 p.m. This formal line that's really going to cross most of the area will really push through after midnight, between midnight and 1 a.m. That's when that next line moves through, and we could see some more storms with that. But overall, this is a scattered storm weather event, meaning not everyone's seeing something, but some folks seeing something. Clouds pushing through for the start of your Thursday, and then once again for your Thursday afternoon, we have that possibility of some scattered storms, and these ones on the lower end not getting to see as much activity as maybe what's expected for tonight. But again, everyone being on alert over the next couple of days, as each afternoon does feature some low storm chances. More on this weekend's forecast and your 7-day coming up.
If you're spending time inside today to avoid the hot weather, Coach Lamont recommends taking a deep thought moment. Today, he shares a message about the power of believing in yourself.
The one thing we all have in common is our power to believe. Now, this power is integrated in our inner spirit. What we believe becomes the foundation of everything connected to us, from our lifestyle, our decisions, and how we relate to ourselves and others. So my question is, what do you believe about you? To find the answer, monitor your dominant thoughts and listen to the language you use when speaking to yourself. If what you believe about you is hindering you or preventing you from living the life you desire, you must confront that belief, because anything left unresolved internally will resolve itself externally. And those results may not be beneficial to us. Make you and what you believe about you a priority. There is no time to waste. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, FB, how you do?
Uh-oh. Freestyle. Lauren. Lauren, you missed a moment on chat. Was it the 11 or the 6? We were joking around with Julie, and Julie said, I'm going to change your nickname from Chili, which is what she calls me, to Hottie. And then I said, and I went, hey, like that. And Julie's like, no, wait, that's not what I meant.
And I said, I hope your husband isn't watching it today, Julie. Calling somebody else Hottie on TV.
That was so funny.
Hey.
So talk about your next. I love this bear thing.
I am excited to put this on television. My cousins were sleeping, I think just last weekend, and they woke up to this crashing outside, and they thought someone was trying to break in. Not a very good crook if you're making all these noises when you're trying to break in, right? So they turned on the porch light, and there was a mama bear and two baby bears, cubs, that were just destroying their balcony, getting in the plants, just crawling all over the place.
So they're up. They're on a second.
You got to see the video.
So the porch was on the second story.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's a deck. And my cousin told me, she said, the crazy part is we don't have stairs that lead up to this porch. So, which means they scaled the poles of the deck to get up on the second floor. And it's really cute. I'm glad that you saw it, Lauren, too.
Yeah.
The two cubs.
Yes, I was like, it's almost like little kids. Like, it was so cute. You got to see it.
Can't wait like the one
He's
little
like sliding
cub
down like a fireman.
Slid down the pole.
I was like, wait, this is like gold.
That's awesome. Just like working out.
Right, and it's a shame because my cousin, so it's husband, wife, 2 daughters. And the mom told me, she said, it was a shame because she had just planted all the flowers the day before.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, watch, we're going to see the video.
Stand by. All right, I want you to check out this video I posted on my Facebook page. It's a family of bears visiting my cousin's house in Wisconsin. You'll see there are 3 black bears. There's one of them. They said they woke up in the middle of the night to what sounded like someone breaking in. They flipped on the deck lights and saw a mama bear and 2 cubs creating a mess. About this story, the crazy part is that this is a 2nd-story deck and there are no outdoor stairs, which means the bears scaled the deck poles to get onto it. My favorite is that little guy right there when
he shimmies down the pole.
So cute.
So
I'm impressed by your cousins too, how they were so calm just filming that,
That's
because
what
I
I'm
wouldn't have wanted to get that close. I know they're babies, but
But didn't you say that you see a lot of bears though where they live?
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's 3.
They're never that close. I mean, they're never right there on your property.
I wonder if they ate on the deck. You know, like if the smell of
Sure,
food.
yeah,
Why would they climb?
I do know that my cousin had just finished planting the flowers in the flower pots the day before, so I wonder if maybe a smell in the flowers was something that attracted them.
But they didn't like what was in the flowers because they just knocked them down. They didn't take anything
They
out of it.
just smacked them down.
I mean, and so one of my cousins, she's 22 or 23, she was at the window just kind of nervous that the bears were just going to break in the
So she
patio
was
door.
inside taking that
They
video.
were
Okay,
all
no
inside,
wonder, because I'm
yeah.
like, that's pretty
Yeah,
steady,
no,
because
right.
I would have been too scared. I would have been shaking.
Right, yeah, that was,
trying to get it.
That's wild though. And to think them, scaling up the poles.
That was the cutest thing. He was just like, la, 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 la,
Like
la,
a
la.
jungle. He's just playing. Look, there he is. That's so funny. Wonder how long
There
they
you
did.
go.
Now,
They
did
need
they?
to like submit this to like national. Maybe this will get picked up. This is like pretty great video.
It's wild.
I don't know. I think that. I mean, that would make me so worried to go back out there again.
Right.
Even if you see him a lot, I still wouldn't want the chance of them just peeking.
Right. Fortunately, they don't have any small pets. Their
that's
girls
good.
are grown now, so.
Have they ever seen bears on their property ever before this?
I think they've seen bears before, but never on their house or
What if they'd been sitting there
Wild.
playing cards? That would have been great.
Drinking
All right,
tea.
Let's take a break. We're coming back.
Let's get a Jalen mic check. Let's get a Jalen. Let's get a Jalen mic check. Let's get a Jalen mic check.
That's my favorite music so far.
Yeah, that's like Daily Blast Live video.
I like
music
that
right there. I like that.
Happy Hot Wednesday to you, the 4 to 5 fam here. We of course hope that you are watching from somewhere cool because that heat is on today. I'm Eric Chilton alongside Chad Silver, Monique Robinson, and Lauren Coleman.
Hey, why don't you join our Facebook page? Talk with us in the comments. It's getting a little quiet over there.
And we've been talking about some good stuff today, so hope to see you over there. You'll also notice that there's a QR code on the bottom right side of your screen. If you point your phone's camera at it, you will see a link to download our app, and the thing you want to see on that app right now is the temperature. It's a hot one out there, Monique.
Do you want to see it, or do
that's
you
true.
not? When I see the temperatures, I'm like, ooh, those need to stay away from us. But some folks are really feeling the heat across the triad. 97 is the current temperature in High Point. And if you're in High Point, you're probably saying, yes, it is 97. That sun is blazing. The heat is on today. And they're not the only ones feeling the heat. 94 is the current temperature in Greensboro. Feels like 93. Feels like 97 in Burlington. Feels like nearly 100 all the way in Raleigh. It's been a hot one. Now, the dew points aren't that bad. And I'm saying aren't that bad because they're not in the 70s. When they're in the 70s, that's when it feels sticky. When you walk outside, it feels like a sauna. We're not feeling that today. Although it is hot, it's a little bit of a dry heat, which is good because if we had the humidity building in along with it, it would feel very different. You can see the humidity is staying in the 60s and kind of riding around that 50 line, which is good. As long as we're not in the 70s, it won't feel like the dog days of summer, but we're just in the beginning of the month. Now, as we continue overnight, we're looking at the possibility of some storms to push through after about 8 p.m. Those temperatures dropping down to 70 degrees. That's not that cool. Over the last couple of days, we've been able to get nighttime lows in the 50s. You've been able to roll your window down. When you drive home, you've been able to open up the window and to give the AC a break. Tonight is not one of those nights. Windows up, AC on, as temperatures staying warm overnight with storms possibly rolling through. Thursday through the start of the day, we'll have some partly cloudy skies. Some of those clouds will spit out a little bit of rainfall, not until the afternoon where we have that possibility of storms to push through once again. Here's a look at your 7-day. Those temperatures staying very warm over the next several days, but these are very typical warm temperatures that we get for this time of year. Temperatures staying in those upper 80s with storm chances possible over the next several days.
On hot days like today, it's important that you take care of yourself. Health experts say heat is the #1 weather-related killer in the U.S. Young children, the elderly, and people with chronic medical conditions are the most vulnerable to heat illness. Heat-related illness can be as mild as a heat rash and as severe as a heat stroke. Knowing when to get yourself out of the heat and take recovery measures such as hydration is key.
So some of those early signs to really be mindful of is the increased heart rate. Feeling like you're getting a headache or you're tired, you're fatigued or sleepy, maybe getting irritable. You may start the excess sweating and having a little bit of the dizziness or nausea, vomiting. Those can be some of the earlier signs as they progress on and they get worse.
For those who work outdoors, health experts recommend wearing light, loose clothing. They also suggest taking frequent breaks from the heat.
Again, get into the shaded areas or air-conditioned areas. Knowing that using a wet, cool cloth can be very helpful to cool yourself down a little bit quicker. Put that at the nape of the neck, under the arms, even in the groin. It's going to cool your body down just a little bit quicker.
There's also several spots you can visit to keep cool in our community. Most are inexpensive or they're free 99. Yes, you can visit a public library to cool off during business hours. The city of Greensboro also has a dozen neighborhood rec centers and splash pads for free use. Plus, a trip to the public pool is $2 per adult and $1 for kids.
All right, time now for your 4 to 5 roundup. First up today, Guilford County schools, parents, and students are previewing new touchless body scanners. It's part of an open house until 6 at Smith High School in Greensboro. Scanners can detect guns inside backpacks and jackets, like those used during sporting events. The district is considering installing them in all traditional high schools. They're holding another open house tomorrow at High Point Central from 4 to 6. Winston-Salem Forsyth is changing how students are disciplined. The board revised its code of conduct because leaders say too many kids are missing class when they're punished. Moving forward, their goal is to keep students in class by taking what they're calling a restorative approach. It means that before suspending the students, teachers will work with social workers, counselors, or other staff members to address problems. It's been a slow start for healthcare providers hoping to vaccinate kids under the age of 5. Just a handful of families showed up to StarMed's site at Four Seasons Town Center today. Starting tomorrow, parents can choose either Moderna's or Pfizer's shot. The dosage and number of shots in the series differs by brand. You can make an appointment on StarMed's website.
The access to vaccines for young children has parents asking a lot of questions. We spoke to a pediatrician to address some of their top concerns.
COVID vaccination can help with preventing severe illness, hospitalizations, and deaths in this young age group.
A common question: why get younger children vaccinated for COVID-19 if the illness can be mild for them? Dr. Sarah Boslett is a pediatrician at Indiana University Health.
COVID infection is now the leading infectious cause of death in children under 5. And it doesn't seem like a big deal until it's your child who's really sick.
Another common question: if my child already had COVID-19, do they need to get the vaccine?
They are at risk of getting it again, and the vaccine provides even more protection over time. If your child currently has COVID, wait until their symptoms have gone away and then schedule their COVID vaccine.
Some parents worry younger children may be more vulnerable to side effects of the vaccine, but studies show they are typically mild and can include fever, pain at the injection site, fatigue, and irritability. As for whether the youngest kids could suffer the rare side effect of heart inflammation seen in some adolescents and adults,
there were no cases reported throughout all the vaccine studies.
And can children get their COVID vaccines along with their other regulatory scheduled vaccines? Dr. Boslett says yes.
If your child is experiencing side effects after the vaccine, you can give them some Tylenol or Motrin. However, doctors say don't give them over-the-counter pain relievers before vaccination in an attempt to prevent side effects.
HBCU pride runs strong in the Triad. You've got the Aggies, the Rams, and the Bennett Bells making up for a lot of upcoming talent in our area. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey is learning more about a new partnership with the White House to make it even better.
Students from Bennett College, North Carolina A&T, and Winston-Salem State University spoke at length with the White House's HBCU initiative team. They shared the challenges they faced as HBCU students. The goal, to make sure they're all set up to make a positive impact after graduation.
I think the important thing for us is to make sure that HBCUs have an opportunity to participate in our federally sponsored programs. So a large part of what I do is to make sure that I am working with our agencies to remove barriers.
Zaria Murphy experienced a lot of those barriers during her 4 years at Bennett College.
Being able to tell them exactly what I experienced at my institution, what they could provide for my institution, and just what I gained so far from being here and what I will bring back to them as well.
There are lots of ways to help HBCUs, and each and every way that the White House initiative can help us will be beneficial for our students, faculty, and staff.
The initiative helps with funding and scholarships, research projects and grants, and campus infrastructure. Dr. Trent says it's all about bridging the gap between the White House and historically black colleges and universities.
A large part of this administration's support is they recognize that when we support our HBCUs, we support our future.
Dr. Trent expects President Biden to include more funding for HBCUs in his upcoming budget proposal.
I think this is so awesome because so many of our viewers have attended the HBCUs in our viewing area, and not just here in North Carolina in general, because there are 10 of them.
It's interesting because when you name all the ones in our area, a lot of people are like, it's more than you think about. You know, you're like, wait a minute, because A&T's Alumni Association is massive, and they're a huge impact on the Triad.
And what a cool thing that somebody from the White House, is coming here to make sure that, they're able to help in whatever they need. Because oftentimes, you'll hear big government people say, oh yeah, we're looking to do this, we're looking to help this, really just like a campaign slogan. But to see someone actually hear from the White House looking to bridge the gap here, it's pretty cool.
And speaking to students and getting those firsthand accounts, that's really, really awesome.
And again, I think it's, even if you just look at sheer numbers, when we talk about A&T and Winston-Salem State, Bennett, all that, they're a massive part of the workforce, in this community. So you're reaching out and you're kind of giving back to what really kind of built a lot of the sections of the triad.
And a lot of people are attracted because of what these schools offer. Like my sister is a graduate of North Carolina A&T. She did her undergrad and her graduate studies there because of the engineering. She wanted to be an engineer. They invest a lot in black female engineers, so she wanted to come. So you do see a lot of out-of-state students attracted to these universities.
That bioengineering program at A&T is big.
That's crazy.
Very big.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. Okay.
If you are not a fan of the heat that we've been feeling today, the good news is this was the hottest day of this week, and so after this, we won't be this hot. 94 Greensboro, 94 Reedsville, 94 even in Mount Airy. A lot of 90s out there. Burlington, the hottest one that I'm seeing on a quick view at 97. So it has certainly been a very hot day across the area, and as we continue over the next several days, like I said, temperatures won't get as hot, and so we're going to continuously be able to look at how these temperatures move over the next several days. We're going to see how these temperatures are looking elsewhere. Nashville 100, Montgomery 100, 97 in Jackson. But what I really want to take a close look at is how the satellite and radar has dramatically changed over the last hour or so. Since I last looked at the start of this 4 p.m. hour, all of these yellow polygons that you're seeing across the Northeast are severe thunderstorm warnings. This is a lot of yellow polygons, meaning a lot of these storms that have developed have been very strong and have warranted severity. And so that's why we're seeing these yellow polygons pop up. And I'm pointing it out. I know you're like, we live in North Carolina. Why do I care about this? This is moving south. So as we go over the next several hours, we need to be on alert as to if these storms continue to maintain their strength, we need to be on alert. So you see that QR code on the bottom of your screen. Make sure to download the app because we're tracking the possibility of storms. First wave of them moving through around 8 p.m., the next round pushing through right around midnight, and then crossing through very quickly. And those temperatures not cooling down much at all, staying in the 70s, upper 60s overnight. Thursday, we warm back up again, not as warm as today. We'll get to about the upper 80s, low 90s, not necessarily the mid to upper 90s like we're feeling, but it's still going to be a very warm one. And then for the afternoon, we do have the chance of some storms that can cross our area. Not as widespread as what I'm expecting for tonight. The winds will also pick up at times this evening, upwards of almost 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts in some locations. So we're talking a very gusty, windy evening. So more than likely when you're laying down to go to sleep, you're going to hear the winds whipping outdoors. Here's one last look at your 7-day before the 4 p.m. hour ends.
The flamingo. When you think of this bird, two things usually come to mind. It is very pink and it stands on one leg. So now my question is, why does it stand on one leg? And is it the only animal that ever does this? So friends, what do you know about the flamingo?
I don't know why it does that.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it stands on one leg.
Any other animals you know that stand on one leg?
Seagulls?
Aren't there like other
I think I've seen a
birds?
seagull stand on one leg
Aha!
at the beach.
We're getting somewhere, friends. That's right. All right, let's tackle that question right here. Science Focus confirms other birds do it. We're talking ducks and geese and swans. This is a mallard duck. These birds are just lower to the ground. You just don't notice it, right? And as for the why Science Focus says flamingos are more stable for long periods of time on one leg more than they are on two because the ligaments and tendons in their legs can be locked in position and that reduces any muscular effort to stay in one place. All right, now, I'm bringing all of this up because I want to know how long you can stand on one leg.
Oh, I got you. Are we putting money on it?
Okay, now wait. There really is a reason for this, and we invite you folks to be able to do it with us too. The key time to do it is 10 seconds.
Okay.
All right, so everyone, ready? We're going to do one leg for 10 seconds. There's going to be a 10-second count behind you. Are you ready? Did you pick out which leg you want?
Yeah.
Ready?
I'm trying to think if I have a dominant
and
leg.
go. Hey, and it's extra. Oh, are the second things going? Oh my gosh. Okay, now it's going.
There it goes.
Ah! Okay, it's harder on, with heels, by the way. Okay,
Got
7,
it.
8, 9, 10. Okay.
Do we stop or are we still showing off?
Oh.
So I think it's you just have to like balance your body
Yeah, you
above
do.
the one leg, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, now here's why this is important, friends. Okay, this is why it's important. A new study links the ability to stand on one leg for 10 seconds with a longer life. So the British Journal of Sports Medicine, studying nearly 2,000 people, all were 40 or older, researchers found those who could not hold the balance for 10 seconds were almost twice as likely to die in the next 10 years.
Ooh.
So friends, at home, here in the station, everywhere, go work on your balance. It's one of the key things to a longer life.
Bobby Odom says, does a crane stand on one leg?
Yes.
I think so.
I don't know if it's a riddle or if
I
he's
know, it sounds like a
legitimately
joke.
wanted to know. Why did the crane stand on one leg? Well, because his foot was getting
Because the
wet.
chicken was on
I
the
don't
other
know.
side of the road.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Hey, Facebook, what's happening?
What's
We
up,
are,
people?
Look at this table. Let's talk about this table, you guys.
Chad's proud of the table.
I'm really happy that we are bringing this table back for some of our segments. As you can imagine, during the height of the pandemic, the idea was to social distance and stay far away from each other. But now we're bringing it back just a little bit.
Got it.
I think it helps foster conversation when
It
we're all
does.
just kind of sitting around a table talking.
I know I'm old school, but I like having a place to put my things. I wish the table like were permanent out here.
What if we
It's
had
like-
little couches?
Yeah, we could do
Like
that.
what they
We
do
did-
on the top?
Yeah, and have like our little coffee cups.
We
That
could
would
do
be
that.
cool.
We used to
yeah,
do that
you
in the
pitch
Good
that.
Morning Show a long time ago.
Eric, do you like to stand in the middle or do you like to stand off to the side?
I like the middle, but I don't know why.
Perfect.
Because
I
I'm not
don't want
sure.
the middle.
I don't know why. I like that better. It's like all my friends are right here. You know what I mean? It's like, you're here.
You just like to be the center of attention.
Yeah, that's right. No, that one. This one.
No.
Come on, Chad.
All right, Eric Chilton, tell
Why
me your
do
best
I like that?
dad
Now,
joke.
now you're making me wonder why.
Yeah.
Like psychologically, why do I like it?
You know what you should do? That would be a good Blanca Cobb segment.
Yeah, it would. She'd probably say what you said.
Tell me your best dad joke.
Okay, if I had a ladder, I would say this is my step ladder. I never met my real ladder. I thought that was a good dad joke.
So wait, how much time do we have, Kiana? One
One
minute.
minute.
Okay, so I got 30 seconds. So a grasshopper hops into a bar, hops up on the bar stool and says, "Hey bartender, give me a drink." Bartender goes, "Hey grasshopper, you know we got a drink named after you?" He was like, "You got a drink named Steve?" Oh God. It's really bad, right? Okay, really. Okay, goodbye.
So you've more than likely been to a car shop to get some work on your car. Now, how many times have you seen a woman in there working on your car? Probably less than a handful. So when I heard about Bethany Hyatt, I had to go meet her.
Oil changes, fixing tires, inspecting cars, she does it all. It's not every day you find women under the hood.
It doesn't have no leaks, air filter's nice and clean.
But Bethany Hyatt takes pride in breaking the mold.
You know, I always get a lot of customers that are like, "Oh my God, I love you. This is amazing. I've never seen a female, you know, it's great."
Hyatt loves getting her hands dirty in the shop.
All right, I'm gonna just wash my hands. I do the state inspections on cars. I do the oil changes, coolant exchanges. I love doing brakes. Those are like my favorite things. I'm looking good there. I do car alignments, you know, mountain balance tires. My brother always worked on cars. My dad worked on cars, but it was more so my brother. We were eventually gonna have our own shop one day, but he had passed away.
Losing her older brother Chris was tough for Hyatt and came early in her career.
When my brother first passed away, it was like my first or second week of being in an actual shop.
She misses him dearly, but never works on a job without Chris close by.
On the side of my toolbox, I have a little necklace urn with his ashes in it, so I have him here with me every day.
Knowing he's close is helpful on days when her skills get questioned.
I have every now and then I run into that one guy that just, "I don't want you working on my car."
On the other hand, Hyatt says women usually call on her to decode the car repair lingo.
A lot of times it's a lot easier for the females to actually understand what I'm saying because I can relate to them and break it down to them a little bit better.
She hopes to make her brother proud soon because now she's on track to become a master technician.
I love doing what I do. Like, I'm happiest here.
Ooh, I like that.
I know, she was super sweet. When I was in there and I just saw her working, all these men getting their hands dirty and everything, I could never do it. I said, "Thank you for what you do." Because I'm always a woman, I'm like, "Daddy, they're telling me I gotta fix the brakes, I gotta fix that, I have no clue what to do."
I loved how she said a lot of women will come to her so she can break down that lingo, because sometimes you are, I don't want to say the word intimidated, but people do try to get over on you sometimes. So I really love that.
I saw it with, I asked Mo when this was running, I said, "Is this Precision Auto Care?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "I've been there and seen her there." And I so badly wanted to say something, but it's the type of place where you go in and you stay in the car while they work on it. So I couldn't get out and say anything. That's great. I love
Because
that.
you don't see a lot of women working on cars. I probably have seen like one or two, but it's not something you see every day.
Yeah.
I love when we can see women breaking into male-dominated fields. You know, when last year we were talking about the first female NFL referee.
Oh, yeah.
This year we're talking about the first MLB, I think it was minor league baseball coach. I don't know, I love seeing that kind of stuff. And I mean, props it's brave, I imagine, is the word. Hopefully she's okay with that word. But I mean, yeah, I think it's awesome.
And she looks so calm and comfortable and confident. And I think any little girl that goes through there to get there, if they're with their parent getting their car done, they might be like, that's something that I can do. Or maybe I need to get an internship or something. That
seeing that example in front of you is really important. So even with the MLB and the NFL, like you mentioned, now people are like, oh, I could do that? Because you always see men running down the field too. So being able to just see it as an example is just so important.
My wife is always trying to make sure our youngest Drew, the girl, the only girl, is toughening up a little bit. She's always saying, you got to tough it. I want you to be a tough girl. And so they have this little thing they say at bedtime. Sometimes she goes, I'm a tough nut, not a crumbly cookie.
Aww.
And so that's her thing. She's I'm a tough nut. That's her deal.
Oh, so cute.
That's great.
All right, we're gonna take a break. We're coming back.
Microphone check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Vacations, I'll be I get the itinerary. John's like, can we just?
That's me. I hate.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you please? Yeah, John's like, can you please stop with that?
Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1.
10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1. 10-9-8-7-6-5.
There is actually no one here at the StarMed Clinic at the Four Seasons Town Center. Some parents who commented on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page that they were going
It's time for my 2 cents. It's been just over 2 years since health officials declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. The news startled people around the world. We were encouraged to stay in our homes, limit interaction with people outside of our households, and practice good hygiene. The world looks much different now than it did during the pandemic lockdowns. Many of us are no longer working from home. We're starting to travel more and gather for large events. It's almost like pre-pandemic times, but the reality is we're still in it. Often in conversation with others, I hear people say, when we were in the pandemic, or now that we're out of the pandemic, I plan to do XYZ. I always think to myself, why are we treating the virus like it's a thing of the past? Yes, we have vaccines and boosters and new ways to treat COVID-19, but there are still people getting very sick and dying from the virus. we can't let our guard down just yet. As we continue to gather and live life like we once did before, remember to take precautions when necessary so we can one day reflect on COVID-19 as truly a thing of the past. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
For the first time, parents and students are getting a look at new body scanners being tested out at 2 Guilford County schools.
The touchless body scanners will detect anything that looks like a weapon before someone enters the school. Right now, parents and students are at Smith High School testing them out.
Yesterday, the district put the scanners to the test. Students, teachers, and visitors all had to walk through the scanners. They look just like the scanners you would walk through when you leave or enter a store. These specific scanners are made by Evolve Technology.